Flamengo confirms the departure of a forward and has 7 other contracts ending this year, which could also see some emblematic departures from the club. We now have Nicolás de la Cruz's destination being decided. In addition, we also bring other information here, like Mauro Cesar Pereira himself, saying that Flamengo already has plans A and B. In this case, Flamengo's plan A is Felipe Luiz, but they already have plans B and C in case the red-black coach leaves. There's wood here, knock on wood. Felipe Luiz can't leave. No way, man. We're going to bring you these and other news now here on the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. No one leaves us hanging. You have to deal with it. He's going to have to stay. And it's those guys who like to make fun when Flamengo loses the Club World Cup final on penalties. Man, we're in the top 5 best teams in the world. Flamengo is in the top 5. It's one of the 5 best teams in the world. The guys are desperate and must endure it. No one dies owing us. You thought you were going to die owing us, but no, that's not the case. Today we have an interview at Babacast 11:30 in the morning, so I'm letting you know it's going to be explosive. This interview at Babacast, here's the thing. We're here thanks to Pix do Milhão. It's a benefits club that you can join. Man, it's spectacular. You earn points, exchange them for products, experiences, and you also get a chance to win lots of prizes. On the 31st, there are 3 prizes of 1 million reais each, and on January 2nd, there's a prize of 2 million. I'll leave the QR code here on the screen for you to take advantage of. So secure your Million PIX Benefits Club right now. Besides that, you can lose weight in a healthy way. All right, man, with Mais Cabelo. Mais Cabelo also has the Mais Slim weight loss program. I lost 74 kilos and you can lose weight too, okay? Always in a healthy way, without hair loss. It's amazing. I want to thank here, man, the person who did my insurance. If you're in Florida and want to get insurance for your car or your house, the best company is right here in the pinned comment in the description. It's AIP Florida. You don't have a house yet. You want to buy one. Okay, are you going to buy your house? Then you get insurance with the most awarded insurance company, which is the most awarded insurance broker, which is AIP Florida. I was going to send a kiss to Anna, who does a fantastic job. But Vivi Homes Orlando is the person who will get you, man, the best options for houses and apartments for your home in Orlando. She always has plenty and the best conditions. Mention Paparazzo Rubro-Negro. You can look for Vivi Homes Orlando. And if you also want an apartment in Miami, you can talk to her too. And we get here remembering, man, I even want to remind you, look, I already won. You already won. That's right, okay? Today is the final of the Copa do Brasil. And our tip is this, a draw in regular time, okay? A draw in regular time. Play responsibly. It's for those 18 plus and for fun, not profit. A draw in regular time and over 1.5 total goals in the match. So a draw in regular time and over 1.5 total goals in the match. And I saw a bunch of Flamengo fans saying, oh, I'm going to root for Vasco. Sure, man, even though Vasco has gone years without winning a title. That's not how it works. No, that's not how it works. I'm going to do my jinx chant, Corinthians is going to be the champion with Dorival in the penalty shootout. Corinthians will win the championship on penalties, mark my words. It's just that I don't usually get it wrong, you know? Let's go. We have information here. So there's a lot for us to bring to you. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about the tribute that Pulgar received over there in Chile. Look, he even went there to sign. They made, man, the graffiti there, awesome, of Pulgar with the Libertadores Cup, the Chileans there. Look, he's signing it there. Look, he's signing right there. Look, that's cool. People really respect Pulgar there. Pulgar is very loved in Chile, and I think it's cool for us to talk here about how much that is. These players, like Pulgar, who are also idols there in Chile, carry Flamengo's image. They make Flamengo even more global. So let's talk now about the sale of the striker, right? Flamengo sealed the sale of the striker Juninho to Pumas from Mexico for $5 million. We're talking about 32.3 million reais at the current exchange rate. This is information we brought about a week ago. We talked to the player himself who confirmed the information. We brought it here. The information is solid. Even so, there were journalists denying it, saying there was nothing and insisting that it only came later. That's quite a coincidence, isn't it? We're bringing the information here saying that Juninho was about to leave for Mexico to Pumas from Mexico. We state the approximate amount Flamengo would recover. It was exactly what was invested. Exactly what was invested when buying the player from Karabakh, from Azerbaijan. We bring the complete information, then people come and deny it, saying there's nothing, that Flamengo didn't receive anything for Juninho. Yeah, and there's another piece of news that we brought, just like they also denied our information about Betano being Flamengo's sponsor, Flamengo's main sponsor. Do you remember who brought the news? Paparazzo channels, Rubro-Negro said that Betano was the chosen one. And after a lot of people denied it and mentioned several other names, in the end, it was Betano that was confirmed. And man, I feel sad about that. Because we bring news, and there are people out there who just try to deny others, to try to downplay other people's news. And then the news ends up being confirmed later. Those same people bring the news, change a little detail, add something new, and then that news becomes theirs. They take ownership of that news. Look, so Flamengo sold the striker Juninho to Pumas from Mexico. Man, good luck to Juninho. All the best to him. There you go. I was hoping he could have shined a bit more at Flamengo, but man, he was a multi-champion. What matters is that he was a multi-champion for Flamengo. That's what matters. The player even scored important goals. In the Libertadores, he scored. Also in the Brasileirão, he made his mark. He wrote his name in Flamengo's history too in some way. Look at Flamengo. There's a situation here that I'm going to bring to you from Mauro Cesar. The standoff involving Flamengo and Felipe Luiz is really worrying the fans. It is. Felipe Luiz's contract renewal with Flamengo, according to Mauro Cesar Pereira, is more complicated than many people think. The club and the coach still haven't reached an agreement, and there are differences between the expectations of both sides. Okay? According to Mauro, the coach received the proposal the day after the loss to Central Cordoba. Contrary to BAP's claim that everything was settled, it isn't, right? The match was played on April 9th. Afterwards, the Red and Blacks supposedly made 5 moves towards extending the commitment. So Felipe Luiz hired the international agent, Jorge Mendes. Flamengo understood this as part of the coach's already expressed desire to look towards Europe and considers it something legitimate. It's Flamengo. Flamengo. Do you also believe that to negotiate this renewal, there wouldn't be a need to involve an agent, right? Next, Jorge Jesus made a request that Flamengo considered absurd, even by European standards, given the current stage of the coach's career. At the moment, the coach and his agent have a final offer in their hands. According to the club, the agent says the decision belongs to the coach, who in turn says he wants to stay, right? But he still needs to make a decision. With Jorge Mendes, Flamengo believes there are limits for everything and everyone, including the salary demands of a professional. The deadlock is real, according to Mauro Cesar Pereira, although it's not something impossible to overcome. That's crazy, my friend. It's always like this. Man, Flamengo can't let what happened before happen again. They keep winning everything, even after Jorge Jesus and Felipe Luiz left. It's not possible, man. And then Mauro Cesar talks here. And if Felipe doesn't renew with the board, since the regime is professional, if a new coach is needed, the responsibility will fall to Jose Boto as the football director. The Portuguese man also already has plans B and C for such an eventuality, also for any eventuality. My friends, it's unbelievable. We don't have peace. We don't have a full year of peace. It's unbelievable that businessman of Felipe Luiz, he's within his rights. He's trying to get better terms, better contracts for Felipe Luiz, but he's making Flamengo's renewal more difficult. Man, it's impressive how we think everything's fine, isn't it? Look, Palmeiras sold and they're negotiating. Actually, it hasn't been officially announced yet. For $7 million, approximately 39 million reais, the midfielder Anibal Moreno to River Plate. And what does that mean? The player, criticized by fans, was a long-time starter at Palmeiras and started over 50 games in 2025. And also Fausto Vera from Atlético Mineiro. He's also going to River Plate, okay? So River Plate for $4.5 million, approximately 24.8 million raise. Okay, yeah. That's the set amount, right? By the 1 year loan agreement, right? River will pay $500,000, 2.7 million reais. And then the value of 4.5 for Fausto Vera is set. So what happens with Fausto Vera and Anibal Moreno going to River Plate? Two new midfielders for River Plate. River Plate is not going to sign Nicolás de la Cruz anymore. There was a chance that River would sign Nico de la Cruz, right? From Flamengo, it was an interest of River Plate. We talked a lot about this here. River wanted the signing, Nico wanted it to even stay at Flamengo and everything, but his wife talked about him going back to River, all that stuff. He has a fondness for River Plate. And even though he, at least internally and also in interviews, makes it clear that he wants to stay at Flamengo, that he wants to shine at Flamengo, he gets along well with Uruguayans there. He has this thing, this connection with River. But River is not going to sign Nicolás de la Cruz anymore because they're already signing two players for that position. And now it's important to say that Flamengo has a plan. They're not negotiating Nicolás de la Cruz. Flamengo has a project to carry out. They're planning to do with Nico this year what they did with Arrascaeta, prepare and make it happen. If he needs surgery, they'll do it and prepare him for a season where he plays more, okay? If they need to do any kind of repair on the knee, like they're doing also with Saul's surgery, Flamengo will carefully evaluate everything with Nico de la Cruz, see what's necessary, because Flamengo wants him to have more minutes, more time on the field. In fact, the coaching staff was very pleased with Nico de la Cruz's performance in the game against Paris Saint-Germain. Did he do well in the game against Paris Saint-Germain? So De La Cruz can stay at Flamengo and everything will be evaluated now already in the preseason. And everything else, what will they do? It is believed that doing some reinforcement work and everything, and with care for Nico de la Cruz, he might have more games in the year 2026. There's also a chance of a deal, but Flamengo is monitoring everything. The important point to bring up here is regarding this. And Globo Esporte also confirms, okay, guys, the information from Felipe Luiz, even though the coach's father spoke to the reporter Angelo Furtado, right? According to Angelo Furtado's source, Felipe will renew with Flamengo. That's the coach's father. At an event in Jaraguá do Sul, Felipe's hometown, the coach's father, the former player's father, commented at an event honoring Felipe. And then he went to Angelo Furtado, who also covers Flamengo, and said that Felipe is going to accept the renewal, so we're moving forward. Globo Esporte also discusses the same deadlock Mauro Cesar mentioned. And we trust Angelo's information that Felipe should stay at least for one more year, right? But Flamengo needs to be cautious, as we discussed yesterday. The club has many options at Ninho do Urubu, like Rodrigo Caio, Danilo, Jorginho. Rodrigo Caio is ahead today because he's already on the coaching staff. He would be an interesting name for Flamengo to prepare for the coming years. And Jorginho and Danilo, as soon as they retire, would also be names that Flamengo could put in the youth system to gain experience and all that. That takes time. It does, but Rodrigo Caio is already there. Rodrigo Caio is already there, right? Yeah. Look, I saw a lot of people talking about Neymar, guys, right? About Neymar. The president of Santos talked about Neymar's future here, which is it's his wish to stay, that he wants to stay at Santos and all that. Many people are talking about Neymar at Flamengo, but it's his decision. The president of Santos has already made it clear that it's Neymar himself who decides. It's his decision, much more Neymar's than Santos's. Santos has spoken with that expectation, and we've received the same in return. He wants to stay so strongly that the conversation centers on that principle. And then I saw a lot of people saying that Neymar, to come to Flamengo, wanted to get 4 million reais, right? That Neymar, that Flamengo would already know how much Neymar wants. Flamengo doesn't know anything. Flamengo isn't looking. Flamengo isn't trying to sign Neymar. Flamengo isn't trying. I got in touch with the Flamengo executive who assured me that Flamengo is not trying to sign Neymar. You can rule that out. Flamengo is not trying. I've said it once. I'll say it again, guys. There's nothing about Neymar at Flamengo. I'm not even using it in the headline. I'm not even using it on the cover because I don't like to mislead the fans. I'm not going to keep using Neymar in headlines or on the cover here on the Paparazzo Rubro-Negro channel. And you know very well that if I put something like decision made about Neymar here, that's what some channels like to do. Neymar, Flamengo already knows how much for Neymar, man, for God's sake. If I put that in the headline, and there are a lot of channels doing that, and I'm not criticizing those guys, but if I put that, I know I'll get more views. And I'd rather make 3 or 4 videos with 30 to 40K views each than one with 200K. But I'm not talking about something serious. So why would I keep talking about something that's not serious, guys? It's not serious. But then people like to subscribe to follow those who are using clickbait and all that because they're not serious. There's nothing about Neymar at Flamengo. Flamengo doesn't want to sign Neymar. It's that simple, okay? Look, Flamengo also has Everton. Cebolinha signed until 2026, the forward stays. According to Universe Online, looking at possibilities, he has a contract. I'll talk about these contracts of players whose contracts are ending, and Cebolinha's is one of them. He's going through a moment of uncertainty. He will meet with the directors in the coming days to clarify the situation. He could already sign an agreement in the middle of the year, right? A pre-contract. Flamengo does not oppose the deal. In the case of a favorable offer, the requirement is to recover part of the 70 million invested in 2022 in the purchase from Benfica. That offer, however, has not arrived yet, according to Universo Online. And Flamengo was not discussing departures yet because they were involved in the Intercontinental Cup competition. Now, yes, now things are starting to happen. Yeah, he has playing time. He's been playing. Flamengo understands that he's an important piece. Cruzeiro, Atlético Mineiro, Grêmio, and São Paulo were clubs that made contact but not offers, and among them, São Paulo, right? In a financial crisis, it was the least excited, and it totally rules out the deal, okay? Cebolinha's staff also sees a move abroad in a positive light. Is that right? So, yeah, Flamengo is analyzing it, right? This possible departure of Cebolinha, but they want the player to stay. And for me, it should stay that way. Okay, yeah, look, we have something here. Leo Duarte, man, remember Leo Duarte? The defender wants to come back to Brazilian soccer, okay? So what do you think? I saw some fans saying, oh, for the squad, he would be good since he almost came to Vasco da Gama. He said, honestly, I'm torn because my family really likes the club, the city, and the people there. The president and staff like me, and I like them too. With 6 months left on my contract, I still want to return to Brazil to perform and play well. I think I can. I'm torn, but if a good project comes up in Brazil, I'll consider it and keep my options open. There is a possibility of coming back, yes. Okay, so he's talking about going back to Brazil, right? Did he nearly return to Brazil to join Vasco? Leo Duarte, who became champion of the Libertadores in 2019 of the Brazilian Championship and the Libertadores. He played a few early season games, then left. Okay, so Leo Duarte doesn't rule out a return to Brazil. We're going to wrap up here now by talking about 7 players whose contracts end in 2026. All right. Look here, among the most experienced, Danilo and Alexandre are 2 players who might even hang up their boots at the end of the season. He, the defender, has even made it clear that he should retire at the end of his contract with Flamengo. The 34-year-old fullback hasn't revealed his plans yet, but may also retire. but Danilo and Alexandre have contracts until the end of the year, and there's no guarantee they'll stay after that. Yeah, Bruno Henrique too, right? About to turn 35, he already admitted that after winning the Brazilian championship, his time as a Flamengo player is coming to an end, okay? So that's another player who's in his last year of contract with Flamengo. Cebolinha, who we've already talked about here, is also in the same situation. We also have Diogo Alves and Iago, right? Two players from the youth academy, right? Flamengo has some promising players in common, including the defender Iago in the final stretch, and also Diogo Alves, who is a goalkeeper, an excellent goalkeeper. Flamengo needs to start thinking about extending their contracts. The defender joined the under-20 team, began training, and is now a professional. He started staying permanently with the professional team and the goalkeeper as well. With Matias Cunha leaving, he might get more opportunities. I think Flamengo should renew with both of them, okay? The seventh player, Carlinhos, a forward whose contract ends in 2026, likely won't be used by Flamengo. And then Vitória didn't want to keep the player, so we know it's going to be hard for Carlinhos to continue. He's under contract until year end, so Flamengo must find Carlinhos a club or something else will happen, like with Pablo Castro spending a year there and training after hours. And that's it. What can you do? I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below. Turn on notifications by clicking the bell and leave a nice like on the video. Red and black greetings from Flamengo. Thanks, big hug. I'm out.